Batman Forever came out in 1995. It was directed by Joe Schumacher? Hold up. Joe Schumacher, the one that did The Lost Boys? Easily the best vampire movie ever. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. This is the best vampire movie ever. So, waiting for Batman Forever is gonna be an awesome film, right? Right? Please tell me it's gonna be a good movie. Well, the credits are done pretty well. Batman suiting up was awesome, and the Batmobile reveal was amazing. So we're in for a good Batman film, right? And then they throw this line. Like, God, that was so bad. So bad. Like, Batman can have jokes. Not many jokes, but he can have jokes. But not cringe jokes like that. God, can I persuade you in buying a sandwich? I'll get drive-through. God, that was so cringe. And that's just the first one of many cringe jokes. But just when I thought I was going for a nightmare of a film, I actually found stuff that I liked. Val Kilmer as Batman is not the best Batman, but it's pretty good. And he's easily underrated because this film is not loved by many. And his Bruce Wayne, easily one of my favorite Bruce Waynes on live action. Like, Val Kilmer does a good job as the character in here. And Chris O'Donnell as Robin. I was expecting to like him here. Just because awful memories of Batman and Robin. But I actually liked him here. Not just his Robin, but also his Dick Grayson. Like, he gives a good performance in here. And the film also nails the origin story with the Flying Graysons and all. And the scene where he just, like, steals the Batmobile and goes to fight off against whatever the heck that gang was. That scene was well made too. And then we get to the villains. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I don't know what to say. I like him and I hate him at the same time. Like, he's not a good version of Two-Face. But obviously because of the jokes, he's supposed to be a more serious character, not a Joker knockoff. But and obviously the Dark Knight was a much better take on the character. But if you think about it, while he's not a good Two-Face from the comics, he has one thing that the Dark Knight version didn't have. That's the duality, the multiple persona. He refers to him as more than one, we. That's something that, if I remember, wasn't done in Dark Knight films. So, congratulations, he did that much better than Dark Knight in here. But then again, he's played by Tommy Lee Jones. If you see any of his movies, you know he could have been a so much better Two-Face. Like, if they would have done a more serious Two-Face instead of just focusing on a funny character, this could have been a so much better version of Two-Face. And then there's Jim Carrey as the Riddler. And look, when he first shows up, I was enjoying Jim as the character. I see and I'm like, that's Riddler. And then he becomes the Riddler. And look, I love Jim Carrey. He's definitely one of the funniest actors out there. But I see him and I'm like, that's not Riddler from the comics. Maybe the vintage comics, but not like Riddler, the better version of comic book Riddler. And look, I've loved this version of Riddler for years. But now I can easily say he's not a good Riddler. So I will say that the scene where he destroys the Batmobile and the whole Batcave, that was done very well. But then there's the fact that his plan sucks. His plan is basically to make people dumber and make himself smarter. That's what I understand. That the plan just sucks. And what's with the multiple costumes? Was that necessary? And maybe it could have been done well, but if all the versions of the costumes suck, then that's not necessary. And what's with the way he was defeated? Can someone explain that to me? Because I like don't know how to explain that. What happened in that scene? That just I'm lost for words in that scene. I don't know what the heck happened there. But the Riddler, he's such a great character. He definitely deserves a second chance. Two-Face got his second chance in The Dark Knight, so I'm hoping the character gets a better version in live action, and actually live action movies. Cause Gotham's Riddler, I see him, and that's Riddler. So if they do a Riddler like that in the movies, you are in for it. We could be in for a good Riddler. So fingers crossed, Riddler gets a second chance in these movies. And then there's Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman. Just gonna say, awful character. I didn't like her at all. Just this woman obsessed with Batman. There are better female characters in the Batman films, like Vicky Bell and Catwoman. And I'm happy that Nicole Kidman got to play a better character in DC many years later. And then something that I also took note of was the fact that this film apparently takes place on Halloween. So I'm just thinking, how awesome would it have been to have seen Scarecrow in this film? Like, not add him as a third villain, because that would be overkill. We know that's a terrible idea to have 3 villains in a Batman movie. But Scarecrow in this movie would have been awesome, and to my surprise, I was doing my research on this film, and there are rumors that Tim Burton himself, before he was fired, was actually considering Scarecrow to be a third villain in this film. And he was going to be played by Brad Dourif. Yes, Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky. How awesome would it have been? I would personally have gotten rid of the Riddler and gotten a better story, and I would have done Scarecrow instead of Riddler in this film. And that film would have been this one would have been so much better. But of course, Brad Dourif did say that those were rumors that weren't real. But just saying, Scarecrow and Batman Forever instead of Riddler would have been a much better movie. Heck, this movie has the director of The Lost Boys. This film could have easily have put Scarecrow in here. Then again, if the director of Lost Boys wasn't able to make a good Batman film, that means something else is behind here. Look, I don't know nothing, but I think Warner Brothers may have a big part of why this movie was terrible. Cause this film wasn't terrible, but it could have been so much better. So I'm gonna give Batman Forever 3 question marks. And now if you excuse me, I have a date with a terrible movie.